I can count by tens and ones, use a number line, make compatible numbers, or use friendly numbers to find sums mentally. In this lesson, we're going to practice using mental math strategies for addition. So let's review our vocabulary. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to add or subtract mentally and are close to the real numbers. A way for you to help you remember what the word compatible means is to think of compatible meaning able to go together well. So for example, if we look at the number 456, the number 450 is compatible to 456. If we look at the number 389, the number 400 would be compatible with 389. So would the number 380, the number 390, the number 385, etc. Remember, when choosing compatible numbers, you want to choose numbers that are not only close to the real numbers, but numbers that are easy to add or subtract mentally. So let's review some addition and subtraction strategies that we have learned so far. Let's look at this example. 11 plus 2. What strategy would you use to solve 11 plus 2? Well, you might choose the strategy of counting on. So that would be 11, 12, 13. Now let's look at this addition problem. 9 plus 9. Would you use counting on to find 9 plus 9? Well, hopefully you said no, because there are too many numbers to count on. Instead, you can use a doubles fact. So you should know that 9 plus 9 equals 18. Let's look at a subtraction problem now. Let's look at 14 minus 7. What strategy would you use to solve 14 minus 7? Hopefully, you notice that 14 is a doubles fact. In fact, 7 plus 7 equals 14. So hopefully you would have known that 14 minus 7 equals 7. So you would use, again, the doubles fact to figure that out. In today's lesson, you're going to learn 3 mental math strategies to add greater numbers. We're going to learn counting by tens and ones, using compatible numbers, and using friendly numbers and adjusting. This table shows how many musicians are in each section of a symphony orchestra. So in the brass section, there are 12 musicians. In the percussion section, there are 13 musicians. In the string section, there are 57 musicians. And in the woodwind section, there are 15 musicians. So let's look at our word problem. How many musicians play either string or woodwind instruments? So we need to figure out how many musicians play either string or woodwind instruments. So in this case, we need to go back to our table and we need to look at how many musicians play string and how many musicians play woodwind? So we're looking right now at these two sections of the table. So looking at the table, we can see that there are 57 string musicians. And looking at the table, we can see that there are 15 woodwind musicians. So the musicians who play either string or woodwind instruments are 57 in percussion and 15 in woodwind. So one way in which we can solve 57 plus 15 is to count by tens and ones. And I'll show you how we do that using a number line. So looking at our problem, 57 plus 15, we know that we're starting at 57. So one way would be to count on to the nearest 10. So the nearest 10 to 57 is 60. So from 57 to 60 would be plus 3. 57, then it's 58, 59, 60. You'll notice that is 3 times that we moved. Next, if we go from 60 to 70, you know that 60 and then to 70 is plus 10. So far we went 3, then 10. And as you know, 3 plus 10 equals 13. Just 2 more would be 15. So we moved from 57 all the way up to 72 is a jump of 15, which is exactly what we had to do. So from 57 plus 15 gives us 72. So 72 musicians play either string or woodwind instruments. Let's try it again, counting by tens and ones to find 57 plus 15. But this time, we're going to count by tens and then count by ones. So we know in the problem, 57 plus 15, we are starting at the number 57. And then we have to add on 15 more. So starting at 57, we know that this is our starting points right over here. Next, we think that 10 plus 5 will give us that 15. So starting from that 57, let's go ahead and add 10, since 10 plus 5 equals 15. Well, 57 plus 10 will give us 67. We added 10, now we need to do 5 more. So if we move 5 more, that would leave us right over here. And 67 and 5 more makes 72. So 72 musicians play either string or woodwind instruments. So in these last two examples, I showed you how to count by tens and ones using a number line to find 57 plus 15. Either way comes out to the same exact amount, 72. It's really just up to you which numbers you are comfortable with adding mentally. Let's go ahead and try another example, counting by tens and ones using a number line. So here is an addition problem. 43 plus 28. We're going to use a number line just to show how the counting strategy works. So, I would start at 43. Now we need to make 28 more jumps or add 28 to 43. Now think, 28 can be broken up into 20 or 2 tens plus 8 or 8 ones. So 43, and I would make a jump of plus 20, and that would give me 63. Because 43 plus 20 equals 63, or 4 tens plus 2 tens equals 6 tens, 3 ones and 0 ones still leaves 3 ones. So I did the 20, so now I have to do plus 8. Well, I know my tens facts. I know that 7 plus 3 equals 10. So 63 has 3 ones. If I add on 7 ones, that's going to bring me to the next 10. There are 6 tens here, so now there will be 7 tens. So I did plus 7. 8 can be broken up into 7 plus 1. So I need one more. And that will bring us to 71. So 43 plus 28 gives us 71. Let's try one more, counting by tens and ones, and using the number line just to show how the counting strategy works. So here we have 58 plus 15. So here is a number line just to illustrate for you how this counting strategy works. Remember, this is a mental strategy you can use, but we're just using a number line right now just to illustrate for you how this counting strategy is working. So 58 plus 15, we know that we're going to start at the number 58. At 58, we need to move 15 more numbers. So think, 15 can be broken up into 10 plus 5. In other words, if you're looking at the number 15, you'll recall that there is 1 10 in 15, which is 10, and 5 ones, which is 5. So we can use this as our counting strategy. So starting at 58, first we'll add 10, and adding tens is quite easy. You should know that 58 plus 10 is the same as just adding one more 10 to this 5 tens. So 5 tens, one more 10 is 6 tens. The ones doesn't change because there are 0 ones there. So 58 plus 10 equals 68. The only digit that changes is the digit in the tens place. So now we added the 10. We need to add 5 more. Now this is when your 10 facts come in handy. Looking at the number 68, there are 8 ones there. You need to think, 8 plus what equals 10? 8 plus 2 equals 10. So to get to the next 10, I would just have to add 2. There are 6 tens. Now it's going to be 7 tens and 0 ones. So we added the 2. Think back to the 5. 5 can be broken up into 2 and 3, since 2 plus 3 equals 5. We added the 10, we added the 2, now we need to add 3 more. 70 plus 3 would give us 73. So 58 plus 15 equals 73. Now let's practice using another way. Now we're going to use compatible numbers to add. We're going to use compatible numbers to find the sum of 178 and 227. Remember, compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to add or subtract mentally and are close to the real numbers. So step one is to break apart the add-ins to make them compatible. So we can think 178 is compatible to 175 plus 3 more, since 175 plus 3 equals 178. 227 is compatible with 225 plus 2, since 225 plus 2 equals 227. Step 2 is to find the sums. So 175 and 225 would be compatible because I'm looking at the 75 and the 25. That makes 100. 100 plus 200 is 300, plus the 100 from 75 and 25 would make 400. And 3 plus 2 is easy. That's 5. So we would be left with 400 plus 5. Step 3 would be to add the sums. So 400 plus 5 equals 405. So 178 plus 227 equals 405. One last mental strategy which we're going to practice today is to use something called friendly numbers. So let's look at this addition sentence. 38 plus 56. So step 1 is to make a friendly number. So let's look at our first add-in. So our first add-in is 38. Well, a friendly number is a number that is pretty easy for you to add, or a number which you prefer. So a friendly number is usually a tens number. So let's think. 38 plus 2 will give us 40. and 40 is a friendly number. Since we added 2 to 38, we have to subtract 2 from the number 56. So 56 minus 2 equals 54. Next, what we need to do is to find the sums of the numbers we have now. So now we have 40, right? 38 became 40, and we have 54. 56 became 54. So we will add these two together. 40 plus 54 equals 94. Or 4 tens and 5 tens equals 9 tens. 0 ones and 4 ones equals 4 ones. So 38 plus 56 equals 94. So in this lesson, you learned 3 mental math strategies to add greater numbers. You learned how to count by tens and ones, how to use compatible numbers, and how to use friendly numbers and adjusting.